Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Gabriels has told Mikel he wants to play as soon as possible. He wants to come back in the starting 11 as soon as possible. We're going to be talking about Brice Nelson. Brighton and Nice are interested in signing him. If Brighton want him, keep him times 10. If Brighton look at a player, keep him. Like, Brighton are the best scouts in the Premier League. Brighton are the epitome of scouting in football. If they want your player and you are going to give him a new deal, keep him like times 10. We're going to be diving into that as well. We're going to be talking about Julian Brandt. Tottenham are also interested now in signing the German international. Arsenal interested in Romeo Lavia at Southampton. And SR Collins says Nketiah and Trossard will not play any part for Arsenal this week. It's a massive setback for Arsenal. But SR Collins says right now, Arsenal will not have Edin Nketiah in on Thursday, and we will not have Edin Nketiah or Leandro Trossard. That is for the weekend against Fulham. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. What do you think about Gabriels' mentality for a player who actually should be out maybe until March, trying to find that fitness, trying to come back slowly, to tell the manager that I want to be back on the pitch as quickly as I can. I want to come back to play for Arsenal as quickly as you can. What does that tell you about his mentality? What does that tell you about how aggressive, how ambitious a player like Gabriels is, and how important that kind of mentality is to a club like Arsenal? Hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 300 like subscribers as well. We're very close to 66,000 subscribers. This is the best place to be as an Arsenal fan on YouTube. Right, so let's get into it. According to SR Collins, Gabriels has demanded that he should be played by Mikel Arteta as soon as possible. Now, of course, Mikel is playing a very safe game here. He doesn't want to play him as quickly as can. We talked about this on the live stream yesterday. If you have a player like Gabriels and you have games against Newcastle, West Ham, Liverpool, Leeds, Man City in April, in the coming 21 days, you want to preserve your player as much as you can. You want to preserve your best players as much as you can. But Gabriels is a very different kind of monster in terms of mentality. And Mikel has always talked about that. When he picked up that injury, Mikel said, look, he's a player that's going to be pushing to push the boundaries, to push the timelines, and he's actually done that. I still remember it was the same situation with Granit Xhaka. When Xhaka picked up an injury last campaign, we all thought it was going to be 8 months. We all thought it's going to be 9 months. But it wasn't even 4 months. It came back, I think, within 79 to 89 days. Around there, Xhaka was already back. And Mikel said he is a mentality monster. He's a guy that doesn't allow to be out for 100 days because of an injury. He's going to be working on his rehabilitation, and he will be back as soon as possible. Now, Mikel said the same thing with Gabriels. And what we are hearing from the walls, according to a few outlets, including SR Collins, one of my best journalists, these days, he's saying that Gabriels has told Mikel Arteta he is perfect, he is okay to play, and that is why there is a small window that will be taken to Portugal. I think that will be on Tuesday. Today is a Tuesday, isn't it? But when do we travel to Portugal? Is it today or tomorrow? When the squad travels to Portugal, there is a high chance that Gabriels will be part of that squad. And there is also a very high chance that when he goes there, he might actually play a small part in that game. Now, listen, I think he's coming back only, even if he doesn't play, when other players look at him as part of the team. When other players look at him as a player who can be, subbed on at any point in time, it is going to massively impact our season. It's going to massively impact the way, we play games, the way we approach games and all that. You have another leader on the bench. You're going to have another leader in the dressing room. But the mentality of the team, knowing that we have a player like Gabriels coming back, the confidence it's going to bring in, the competition it's going to create for players like Trossard, Nketiah, Martinelli, it's absolutely massive. And I've seen many pundits say when he comes back without form, it might actually not work for Arsenal or even in their favor. It works for us Even if he comes back and doesn't play a single game, it works for us. The team feeling his presence, the team knowing that he's there, the team, he's one of those players that you just want to be there. For me, Gabriels and Alexander Zinchenko and Thomas Partey, those are three players that whenever they've come back, whenever they get into that squad, Arsenal win a game of football. Like, we definitely win. I'm not saying we don't lose with them on the pitch. We do. I don't want to be like Man United fans who say, oh, we cannot lose without Casemiro, with Casemiro on the pitch. You can lose a game with Casemiro, right? We also can lose games with Gabriels, Zinchenko, and Partey. But for a player of his mentality and stature to come back in the side, it is purely different. It's pure sense. Now, although the player wants to play, although he's demanded to play as quickly as he can, I think Mikel is going to be that. Of course, we know Mikel is that kind of guy that wants to play itself. He's a guy you don't tell something to do. I think him, Ten Hag, Klopp, and Pep Guardiola are that caliber of managers. When they wake up in the morning and they feel like Reece Nelson should be playing today and not Emile Smith-Rowe, it's going to be that. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you tell them. But look, Mikel is so lucky to have a player like Gabriels who's coming back. That is number one. But then again, he's so lucky to have a player like Gabriels who's come back at this point in time, and he still has the same attitude. He still has the same mentality. If there is no drop-off in mentality, if there is no drop-off in quality, in general quality of the player and what he brings to the team, look, form is temporary. It might come back. Maybe the knee injury was a little bit scary for him. He might have a drop-off here and there. But for me, what I'm looking at is that quality as a player. Are you still willing to go? Are you still willing to push the team? Are you still willing to push the boundaries and push the time frame? In my opinion, he's actually trying to do that. So let's wait and see if Mikel will yield to the pressure and play him as quickly as possible, because the player has actually proven him that, well, as people think I'll be back in 5 months, I'm going to be coming back in 2-3 months. And if you need me, I'm going to be purely available. So let me know, do you think Gabriels should be played in the next game right away? Should we rest him until the Liverpool game? Or is it a little bit too dangerous for us to play him and for us not to play him as well? I want your thoughts. I want your opinions right there in the comment box below. Now, I was watching and I was going through Leno's interview. I think he did it with the Standard. And I picked up a few quotes from Leno's interview. Number one, Leno says, I have nothing against Arsenal, and I want them to win the trophy because they actually deserve it. He says when he came back at the Emirates Stadium, the reception he received was absolutely fabulous. And he says that he's one of those players that a few fans have told, you are good for us in the 4 years you are here at the Emirates Stadium. But then he also says that he doesn't believe, and this is very, very interesting. He says he doesn't believe that the 3 million Arsenal sold him for are actually what he was worth. He says, I was probably more than that as a Premier League goalkeeper. Otherwise, I would have to be a very bad player for me to go for only 3 million. Now, listen, I love Leno. You know that. Everybody knows that I love Leno more than Martinez. I love Leno more than Aaron Ramsdale. But Ramsdale is the Arsenal guy right now. And is the guy I love more. And I've got to back him, isn't it? But Leno is a professional, and I love that. I loved that about him. I think there was only one time when he came out and made a complaint, and he said, "I don't think they played Ramsdale, not really Ramsdale, but he was talking about Mikel. I think it was Ramsdale, right? I think it was Ramsdale first season. So he said, I don't think they played Ramsdale, or he played Ramsdale because of merit." But I think he played Ramsdale just to keep me out of the starting 11, although I was better than Ramsdale in training and all that. The truth of the matter is, Mikel was trying to build a consistent starting 11. And there is no way you build players like Aaron Ramsdale if you don't give them consistent game time. It's as simple as that. Is Leno better than Aaron Ramsdale? 110%, in my opinion. But if you want to build a consistent 11 around a young goalkeeper that has so much talent and so much potential, you've got to trust him and you've got to back him, even when he makes those slight mistakes, even when his game is not at that level where you want him to be at. This weekend, Ramsdale brought us 3 points again. 3 massive saves in the Bournemouth game. All right. So Leno says I have nothing against Arsenal. We have nothing against Leno as well. So if he wants us to win it, we hope Fulham don't get relegated, right? It's going to be a very, very tough weekend when we play them over the weekend at the Craven Cottage. They came at the Emirates Stadium. They made it very difficult for Arsenal. I think they will be lacking Joe Palhinha. Maybe yes, maybe no. It will affect them, but I have no problem with Leno. And if he wishes us well, we definitely wish Fulham to go to the UEFA Conference League or even the Europa League and win it. We don't have a problem because we're going to win the Champions League and the Premier League. So they could as well next season win the Europa League and Conference League. I wouldn't really have a problem with Fulham. Just for that. Now, just a little bit of a setback in terms of the transfer update I gave you yesterday. It looks, according to SR Collins, Eddie Nketiah will not be able to play for Arsenal against Sporting CP, and he will be out again for the Fulham game. Now, yesterday it was reported that he might travel with the squad. He might have a late fitness test for that game, or probably a late fitness test for the Fulham game. But according to SR Collins, it's not going to be possible. It will not happen. Arsenal have to find other options at centre forward because Nketiah and Trossard are out this week. That's a massive setback for me. That's a really, really massive setback. In a game like Sporting CP, where I think Arsenal have a lot to lose than gain, because we are away and we have a chance to win it at the Emirates, you want your best starting, your best 11. Your best second 11. That's what I'm trying to say here. You want your best second 11 to play. You want Eddie Nketiah. He's the best striker when it comes to our second 11. You want Trossard at the left, or even Martinelli. Depends on what the manager decides to go for. You want Emil Smith-Rowe in that team, Fabio Vieira in that team, and all that. But I told you on the live show yesterday why I like Eddie Nketiah in knockout games. The guy knows how to score knockout goals. Like, he scored 9 this season, 3 in the Premier League, the rest in knockout competitions. So if there is one guy you want to call at Arsenal, tell him we have a knockout game, it might as well just be Eddie Nketiah. Him being out just means that we don't have a centre forward now for the Fulham game. Him being out means that we don't have a centre forward for the CP game, and him being out means that potentially Arsenal could play the last 4 games of March before we head into the international break without a striker. That is scary. I think Gabriel Martinelli did very well when he played in that position, but when you play a low block and you play a player like Gabriel Martinelli, he doesn't have the spaces to run in behind. It doesn't really help him. But Martinelli as a striker for the CP game, I'll back him to score. I'll back him to bag a goal because I don't think CP sit in that negative bullshit shape. They always come, they will attack you, they'll bring in good football, and you always have the chances to run in behind. So Gabriel Martinelli, good for that game. The Fulham game, I'm not really sure. Will they sit back? Will they play the usual football they play? If they play the usual football they play, we stand a chance. But if they sit back without Leandro Trossard, it might actually be a massive, massive, massive difficult game, right? But I don't think Arsenal will lose a game in March. And if there is a game we must lose in March, it should be against Sporting CP in Portugal. All right. A bit of transfer update. First and foremost, Fabrizio Romano says that Arsenal are interested in Romeo Lavia, the player that is at Southampton, signed from Manchester City in the summer. Now his release buyback clause is around £45 million, and that buyback clause is for Manchester City. It is highly likely that Southampton will go down. Romeo Lavia is one of the players that are impressing in their midfield, and it is also highly likely that a couple of other teams, including Arsenal and a couple of other teams, giants outside the Premier League, will be coming in to try to sign Romeo Lavia. Now, Fabrizio says the situation is not yet resolved. Nothing is very close. All clubs are just looking at him the same way we are looking at Gabriel Viega, right? The guy at Celta Vigo. So it looks like Arsenal looking at midfield options already. Romeo Lavia, I think, is 1 or 2 years away from making that jump to a club like Arsenal, because he's coming from Man City. He needs, I think, a good season, like a massively good season at a club like Southampton. If they go down and it goes down with them, and they eventually come back, I think it will be very, very pivotal and key to their coming back. That is when we would say, oh yeah, Romeo Lavia maybe needs that kind of step. Gabriel Viega, the same thing. I've seen a few Spanish clubs looking at him. I don't know much about Gabriel Viega, but he looks like a very, very entertaining player. We will see about that. Now, Nice and Brighton are both interested in signing Reiss Nelson. And this is my take about this. If Brighton is interested in Reiss Nelson, give him a new contract and start him every single week. Okay? Because Brighton are very, very smart. They're looking at the market here. And they've gone, if we get Reiss Nelson, we can sell Kairo Mitoma. Are you out of your minds? Like, are you really, really Brighton? Are you thinking that we're out of our minds to give you a player like Reiss Nelson because you want to sell Kairo Mitoma to Liverpool? Or you want to sell Kairo Mitoma to Man United or Man City. You want to do us dirty here. We're not actually doing that. So in my opinion, get Reiss Nelson to a new deal because Brighton want him. If Brighton didn't want him, I would be like, yeah, just get him on a new deal and sell him. But Brighton are the epitome of scouting in world football. Brighton are the real understanding of scouting top talent. Like, they could just look at me on this show and go, that guy is a good Premier League footballer, sign him. Like, I don't know how they do it. They're so good at identifying talent. They're so good at understanding who's going to be the next big star. Look at Caicedo, look at Bissouma, look at Trossard, look at Kairo Mitoma, look at look at the goalkeeper Sanchez. These guys are unreal. They're purely unreal at spotting talent. But anyway, Reiss Nelson for me, I think it's one of those Lingard situations. He loves the club. He wants to stay at the club, and he will definitely stay around. Julian Brandt is the player that Arsenal are tracking, and of course, Tottenham Hotspur are also there to rival. I'll be giving you more of an update about Julian Brandt, like I promised. But Spurs cannot take Julian Brandt off Arsenal. They don't even have a bloody manager. They don't have a manager. Like, how are they even supposed to sign players? For who? For Antonio Conte, who's going to leave in the summer? So if Arsenal are serious about Julian Brandt, we'll get that one done as well. I enjoyed this one. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well. The energy is back through the roofs. And I will see you right in the next one. Find me on the 90 More podcast for all my predictions in the UEFA Champions League, in the UEFA Europa League, and of course, the latest around your favorite clubs every single day.